Here it is, everybody. The Joker. Don't be deceived by that grin, anyone. He's one of the most malevolent malefactors we've ever met.
I'll bet he's a master of makeup, too.
You're right. He is. He might be skulking around here in any one of 50 outrageous outfits. For example, here's another one. Get a little closer, kids. I want you to see that phony flower in
Political
his
presidential
buttonhole.
talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not. How we're really making other people live like kings and we're not.
At 8:30 in the morning, our crew enters Donald Trump's 50-room, $50 million penthouse apartment.
How we're really making other people live like kings and we're not. How we're really making other people live like kings and we're not.
Take a look at the crystal, chandeliers, frescoed ceilings, and marble statuettes.
I've made so many deals in New York, and I own so much property in New York that every street I go on, it seems that I own something.
How we're really making other people live like kings and we're not.
And now, as promised, the man who lives in his own golden tower in New York City.
I've done a book. The charities go to, the money all goes to charity that we're making from the book. The book has become a tremendous success, which I'm happy to say.
Joining us this morning, let's just get it on the record. You wrote The Art of the Deal, Donald Trump didn't?
I wrote every word of it. Donald Trump made a few red marks when I handed him the manuscript, but that was it.
And it's something that makes a lot of charities very happy, too, because, as I said, the money goes to charity, so I'm very happy about it.
Are you carrying your wallet this morning?
I am carrying my wallet.
How much cash do you have in your wallet?
Probably none. I don't keep cash in a wallet, and I don't carry very much cash. You know, there's not very much reason to carry cash, I guess. I'm a very conservative guy. I believe in having cash as opposed to a lot of other people that don't have cash. I have one.
Do you pump your own gas at the service station?
No, not generally, and if I can, you know, it's one of the nice little luxuries in life to be able to say, hey, I'll pay the extra 5 cents a gallon.
I wonder if you have much of a spiritual life.
Well, I'm not sure that we do leave with the exact same amount. I mean,
2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ballgame.
Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
That's a tough question, which is a great book.
But have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
If I do something wrong, I think I just try and make it right. I don't bring God into that picture.
2,000 years ago, you have the Great Wall of China, 13,000 miles long.
Jesus helped
Here
build
we're
that.
really talking about, you're right, you're right.
I know what crazy is.
People are going to presume things.
Well, they can presume whatever they want. I have no intention of running for president.
I know what crazy is.
Don, why don't, there are some who said this, why don't people like you, you and people like you, build low-income, medium-income housing?
Well, as far as building housing is concerned and low-income housing, I've built a lot of it. I haven't recently, but I've built a lot of it. I built senior citizens housing and beautiful, beautiful housing. I built low-income housing, and I'm very proud of it. You bring in hundreds of billions of dollars, which money can go toward the inner city, toward education. I am a huge believer. I'm very well educated, and I'm a huge believer in education.
Newly published testimony revealing unsettling details about Trump University.
Unbelievable believer in education.
All this information is out there now. This is all part of these continuing fraud cases against Trump University, the defunct real estate seminar school that Trump allegedly took in $40 million.
Unbelievable believer in education. Unbelievable believer in education. You look at Saudi Arabia. You want to see a lifestyle? Their poor people live better than our rich people. Their poor people live better than our rich people. Their poor people live better than our rich people. Their poor people live better than our rich people. Okay? I'm saying I want a piece of that. I want the money so that we can put the money into Harlem.
Well, maybe you better be in charge of not only getting that money back and seeing that it doesn't go over there, but that it goes into the inner cities, that it goes into job programs.
Is that an endorsement? I mean, we've come a long way. Look at it really differently.
Okay.
I want to tax Japan. I don't want to tax you. I want to tax West Germany. I want to tax Saudi Arabia. We keep them alive. If it weren't for us, they wouldn't even be here. They wouldn't exist. I want to tax Saudi Arabia for the job we do in keeping them alive. They wouldn't be here for 20 minutes if we ever said, you're on your own, baby. You will tax Japan, you will tax West Germany, you will tax their products.
What would happen to Donald Trump in a depression?
Well, Donald Trump gets hurt like everybody else gets hurt.
Too, about a so-called real estate bubble. What's your take on that pessimism?
Well, first of all, I sort of hope that happens, because then people like me would go in and buy.
Well, Donald Trump gets hurt like everybody else gets hurt. Donald Trump, who knows? I'm a very conservative guy. I believe in having cash as opposed to a lot of other people that don't have cash. I have wonderful properties. I have wonderful everything. I have wonderful everything. I have wonderful everything. I have wonderful everything. I have wonderful everything.
By the power invested me in WNET, I make you in charge. The Donald is running the show.
I've come a long way with you.
Would you do it?
I wouldn't want to do it. I tell you what, I do not want to do it. I love what I'm doing now.
Would you really like to take over? Would you really like to take over? Would you really like to take over and run the country as you have run your organization?
I would much prefer that somebody else do it. But
why are you involved in politics at all?
I enjoy it. I enjoy the system. I doubt I'll ever be involved in politics beyond what I do right now, but I do enjoy the system to watch. It's a beautiful
The rumors that you were going to run were wrong?
Oh, I was never going to run. I mean, I made the mistake of going up to New Hampshire.
Do you mind if I sit back a little bit? Because your breath is very bad.
A vice presidential candidate of mine?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
I guess it's just
Oprah. I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice.
Oprah.
You've said mental health's a problem. You said this
Mental
before.
health is a problem.
What would you do about it?
Well, I would work very hard on mental health without that, but I have to say, no matter what you do, you're going to have problems, because you have sick people. They happen to be intelligent, and they can be sick as hell, and they're geniuses in a certain way. They are going to be able to break the system. These people are going to be able to get into a school or get into something. And
I know what crazy
it's a horrible thing to say, and it's not even politically correct, but it's common sense. You're going to have problems no matter how good, no matter what kind of checks you do, what kind of house. Now,
I know what crazy is.
With that, I think mental health, we have to do better. We have to do a much better job with mental health.
What does that mean?
Well, it means better services, better doctors. If communities can report people that they obviously know. I mean,
Federal government get involved in something
Chuck,
like this?
there have been a couple of these cases where the communities said, we knew this guy for years was really a sicko.
I know what crazy is.
Now, there were 2 of those cases where it was really heavy. And
clearly the Aurora guy
the
for
very the very tough part, though, is how do you take that person and say we're going to institutionalize him for the rest of his life? It's very
You're running
tough.
for president of the United States.
Excuse me, I didn't start it.
I didn't start it. But sir, with all due respect, that's the argument of a 5-year-old.
That would lead a fairly decent life, or even a very decent life. So it's a very tough situation. But if you go back 1,000 years and you go forward 5,000 years,
I know what crazy is.
you're always, no matter how good the procedure is, you're always going to have a certain violence.
See somebody getting ready to throw a tomato? Knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously.
Thanks for staying with us for part 2 of this conversation.
Just knock the hell.
Have you been
I promise you,
by the rise
I will
in the
pay for the legal
popularity
fees. I
of
promise.
Donald Trump?
Totally surprised.
Throw him the hell
Not
out
so
of
very
here.
long ago, Trump was a guaranteed laugher.
Am I allowed to rip that whistle out of the mouth? I'd rip
with
that.
His style, which has.
Should somebody do that?
I
love the old days,
attacking the internal enemy and so forth.
You know what I hate?
Saying that
There's
the
a guy
system is
totally
rotten
disruptive.
and it needs an outsider to fix
punches.
it, which is a fascist.
We're
kind
not
of
allowed
appeal.
to punch
Make
back anymore.
Germany great, make America great.
I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher.
You're always, no matter how good
42 of
the
them
procedure
are right here
is,
in the United
you're
States.
always going to have
Trump is one of them,
a certain violence.
And this guy started screaming by himself, and they did, I don't know, rough up. He should have been, maybe he should have been roughed up, because it was absolutely disgusting what he was doing.
He's suddenly
have you ever
seen
asked
to them
God for
as some kind of
forgiveness?
savior. And I think that transformation a year ago, a little bit after, now suddenly.
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please?
I think that's absolutely
Get him out of here. Mussolini
Throw him out.
When it was pointed out to him, he retweeted it. But,
Stunning new video capturing a Trump supporter sucker punching Rakeem Jones in the face. Sheriff's deputies walking right by the attack, instead going after Jones. 78-year-old John McGraw was unrepentant.
The next time we see him, we might have to kill him. We might have to kill him. We might have to kill him.
I'm going to build a military. It's going to be much stronger than it is right now. It's going to be so strong. Nobody's going to mess with it.
He's not offended by them. Ultimately, the gates outsiders, which sounds like a Democratic thing, but when the outsiders use
I always wanted to get the Purple Heart.
I'm going to build a military. It's going to be much stronger than it is right now. It's going to be so strong. Nobody's going to mess with it. You know what?
Oh, the rallies, it's in the rallies that he's established this rapport with a lot of angry people who felt that nobody else was speaking for them. It's an incredible achievement. He's very good at sensing.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. Gaddafi in Libya is killing thousands of people. Nobody knows how bad it is.
Into political activity. He's given them a focus.
And we're sitting around, we have soldiers all over the Middle East, and we're not bringing them in to stop this horrible carnage.
Violence. They thought that violence had an aesthetic quality, provided it was violence directed toward the revival of damage.
We should stop this guy, which would be very easy and very...
Little of that redemptive violence is showing up in Trump's rhetoric.
We would be so much better off if Gaddafi
suggesting to the crowd and encouraging them to think that it's good to rough up people who disagree.
other white supremacists in this election?
This is an ominous development.
Economic deprivation today in this country
and
in Nazi Germany in the Weimar Republic. You see
this is not exactly the people you want to employ.
Economic deprivation was universal in Germany, in Weimar Germany. First of all, there was the massive inflation in 1923. If you had savings, they disappeared. The whole middle class went through the trap door. And then everybody was unemployed in 1930. It was total deprivation. We have relative deprivation. We have the richest economy on earth.
There is contrary evidence well before the picture was taken. Rafael Cruz's sister was brutally beaten by Castro forces, and Rafael Cruz had denounced the regime. So any suggestion that Cruz's father played a role in the Kennedy assassination is ridiculous and frankly shameful. Now
the other thing is with the terrorists, you have to take out their families. When you get these terrorists, you have to take out their families. They care about their lives, don't kid yourself. But they say they don't care about their lives. You have to take out their families.
If you're pathological, there's no cure for that, folks. If you're a child molester, a sick puppy, you're a child molester, there's no cure for that. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Ivanka, what's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate.
Gets out and she starts asking me all sorts of ridiculous questions. And, you know, you could see there was blood coming out of her eyes. Blood coming out of her, wherever.
Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead. Do you know one of the reasons the wall never got built was Environmental Protection Agency? They couldn't get an environmental impact statement approved. The wall. And when I talk about the wall, I'm talking about the wall at the southern border.
Yeah. They love the wall. No. People love the wall.
We have to have a wall. We have to have a border. And in that wall, we're going to have a beautiful, big, fat door where people can they come into the country and they come in. Now listen to this.
Okay.
A beautiful door where people can come into the country, but they have to come in legally.
Recently, you've spent a lot of time talking about President Obama's birth certificate or lack thereof. You don't seem convinced that he has one.
No, I'm not convinced that he has one. He has pulled one of the great cons in the history of politics. Because we're losing a lot of people because of the internet. And we have to do something. We have to go see Bill Gates and a lot of different people that really understand what's happening. We have to talk to them, maybe in certain areas, closing that internet up in some way. Somebody will say, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. These are foolish people. We have a lot of foolish people. When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best.
So here's what he said when asked about that ad.
Have you seen that, and what did you make of it?
Well, you know, I have seen it, and it was a Romney deal.
Okay, just a couple of minutes later, he appeared live on this show. Here's what he had to say.
Honestly, I have not seen the ad, so I would have to see it. I've heard about the ad, but I have not seen the ad.